Well, well, well. Welcome back, my darling. Diamonds in the rough, I am your favorite talking stone, and today we are back with some more katakana, some more hiragana. I don't know why I paused speaking. I guess title of the stream. I was, just in the car thinking about this and that, any random thing, and I just started to think about Total Drama Island. The famous parody of what is it? The famous parody of Survivor. A Survivor parody made for children. And it's like, man, Total Drama Island was so cool. And that got me thinking about, I know that was made in Canada. I wonder what other shows were made in Canada. The great, great country of Canada and their animation team. And fun fact, it's a lot. It is a lot of shows made in Canada. Oh my, I kind of want to go through them all. Well, maybe not them all, but definitely the heavy hitters. So, without further ado, let's hop on over here, right. Lovely. And let me turn my fan, and yeah, and I'm going to be completely honest, I didn't know. Oh, I peeked. Test. Let me test the volume. Give me a moment. Right. But what I was trying to say is that Canadian animation is just bigger than I thought and is more influential than I thought. Oh my. I don't even know where to begin. Actually, I know where to begin. Total Drama Island. I think I watched the first 6 seasons of it. It was a blast. Total Drama Island was an absolute blast. I distinctly remember going into a store with my father when I was young, and he was just talking to the store clerk about this and that and whatnot, and I was distracted by the television of the store, which for some reason was playing an episode of the first season of Total Drama Island. I don't remember what that store even was. I remember where it was too. It was next to a cafe that my dad liked. But I don't remember what that store was. I think it might have been it feels like a cobbler. It wasn't a cobbler. A cobbler being a shoesmith, someone who makes snooze. Snooze? Someone who makes shoes. But it wasn't that. I forget exactly what it was. I don't think it's there anymore. I could check. It's not too far from me. Regardless, besides the point. I just remember watching it. I think that might have been the first time I've seen Total Drama Island. It's definitely my first memory of watching it, but I'm not sure if I watched it before that or if that was the first time I ever seen it. This cartoon full of, characters, I guess. Well, of course they're characters, but doing this challenge for a whopping $1 million. $1 million. Oh my. And years later, I found out that there was another show called Survivor, which I have still yet to watch. I've never seen a single episode of Survivor. But I do, I learned about it. I was like, oh, that's like Total Drama Island. And then I look it up, and apparently Total Drama Island was based off of Survivor. That was quite the shock. To learn. Oh my. I didn't know it was a parody. Which, in retrospect, I should have known it was a parody, but guess what? I'm a child. I don't watch Survivor. I don't watch that reality television. Is Survivor technically reality television? I don't know what classifies as reality television. It's just a game show, I'd say. Like Big Brother, like American Ninja Warrior, like MasterChef. It's just a game show. I would be the way I describe it rather than reality television. Is it reality television? I don't know classification stuff, but I didn't realize it was a Survivor parody until much later in life, and that was mildly embarrassing. mildly embarrassing. I don't know how many seasons it has now. I don't know how many seasons Total Drama has, because I know it had those 6. Actually, can I name off the winners? Alright, so the first Total Drama winner was, of course, Owen. The second Total Drama winner, I believe, was it Duncan? Was it Duncan? Oh my. The third was Total Drama World Tour, right? Or was that the fourth? No, the third was Total Drama World Tour, and that was Heather. And then they sort of rebooted it, right? And so they had a completely new cast of characters, with some returning characters. The fourth winner was Lightning. And if you haven't watched Total Drama Island, I don't know how to explain it to you who these characters are. Owen is the sweet boy who's very big and strong and husky and loves eating food. Very kind-hearted, mildly gullible, but kind-natured. Duncan is the bad boy of Total Drama Island. I guess to say he's a bit punk. He's a bit, not posh, but punk. He's definitely punk. Heather is the mean girl, which in retrospect might be a reference to the oh sure, I was going to say it's going to be a reference to Heather, the mean girl of Mean Girls, but no, I was thinking of Heathers, the musical, and Mean Girls, the movie, as two separate things, neither of which I've watched, by the way. Heathers were Mean Girls, though, if I recall. I don't actually recall well. Oh my, I don't know the plot of Heathers. I just remember the songs. Like, oh my. Heathers was the musical, I believe. And I remember some of the songs. I think there was something about someone trying to blow up a school. I don't know. I should watch it. I should watch the musical instead of just listen to music and consume it by osmosis. I should. Anyways, besides the point, Heather was the mean girl, I guess. And for the season 4, Lightning was the jock. He was a football player, strong and whatnot. Huh. I can't believe I don't remember season 2. I believe Duncan won. I'm not even sure, but I believe he won. But everything else I remember, the final competition was between Gwen and Owen in season 1, with Heather cheating a bit because Heather was bitter from losing in the round right before and blamed it on Gwen. But Owen won not fair and square, but fair for him. And it was a good competition. Duncan, I don't remember, but I believe he won. Then in season 3, there was this big competition with Alejandro. Oh, and Gwen's the goth, and Alejandro is this pretty boy who's secretly evil? And then it wasn't so secretly evil. But in this Total Drama World Tour, that's what it was called, in the final competition, I believe Alejandro falls into the volcano. And at the end of it, after Heather wins, well, I believe Heather wins. Alejandro might win, but also have the money burned up in the volcano. I forget. She wins, but she doesn't get the money, if I recall. If I recall. And I don't recall well. But there's this big race. Alejandro falls in the volcano, and at the end of the episode, I believe, he comes back as this, like, Darth Vader kind of guy. If that makes sense. Because spoilers for Star Wars, which I also have. I should consume more media. I really should consume more media. But I haven't seen Star Wars, but I do know that Anakin, spoilers for Star Wars, falls into lava and is presumed dead because I believe he tried to betray Obi-Wan? And they fight, a very climactic scene, cuts off Anakin's hand and leaves him there to die. And Anakin doesn't die, and just gets gravely burned. And I think it's it is clearly a reference to that. It is clearly a reference to that with Alejandro's, I don't know what to call him, robot thing? I don't know. But it was a cute reference. For season 4, the final competition was between Lightning and Cameron. Cameron's this more nerdier tech guy who specifically, this is his first time living outside of a bubble. And by a bubble, I mean a physical bubble filled with oxygen. Because he is very delicate and shy boy. But in this competition, they I don't know what to say. It reminded me of Destroy, Build, Destroy, which is a show from Cartoon Network when they stopped doing cartoons from that era, from like 2010, 2014, where they would destroy something, take the scraps to build something, and then destroy each other. Which is odd to say, but in this they had to take scraps and build something. Cameron built an Iron Man suit. Lightning built just like primitive spears and bats and whatnots, and they fought. And Cameron lost because his suit ran out of power, but it was a moral victory for him because, first of all, Lightning was more beat up than him. Second of all, he wasn't damaged at all, and he realized that he could live outside of his bubble. I don't remember season 5, but season 6, the winner was Jeff. And Jeff's friend? I forget it exactly. But Jeff returned for season 6. It was a contestant from all the way back in season 1, season 2, season 3, I believe. And he's just a surfer. Very chill dude. Very chill dude. But oh my. That's what I remember from Total Drama. I only remember those 6 seasons, and I don't remember season 5 well or really at all. But I know it continued after that. I believe they had a show where there were kids in a daycare because everyone did a show like that for some reason. Like you have SpongeBob doing Camp Coral, which is just the SpongeBob cast, but they're babies now for some reason. I don't know. Apparently that was a very popular thing to do, and Total Drama definitely hopped on that bandwagon. Oh my. But yeah, that's what I remember from Total Drama. But there are other Canadian shows. Speaking of that, while doing research, by research I mean looking on Wikipedia quickly, and images, I realized something. Ed, Edd, and Eddy is Canadian. Ed, Edd, and Eddy is Canadian. I didn't know that. And for those of you who don't know, Ed, Edd, and Eddy is a show from, I think, the late 90s about 3 kids. Ed, the scam artist. Ed, with just 2 Ds, double D, as they would call him. The geekier one. And Eddy, the dumb, kind-hearted, strong one, and their shenanigans to try to scam the fellow children of the cul-de-sac for quarters so they could buy Jawbreakers, which was this MacGuffin candy. Jawbreakers in real life did not look as good as they did in Ed, Edd, and Eddy. What each episode was I guess, not every episode, but a lot of the episodes would revolve about them trying to scam people for quarters so they can buy Jawbreaker, and it usually not going their way. It was a very fun show. I didn't grow up with it too much. I think it technically aired before my era of watching cartoons, but I definitely saw the reruns and had an impact on that. Oh my. It definitely impacted me. It impacted a lot of people. It's a great cartoon. I highly recommend it if you haven't seen it. I'm not sure if it holds up, but no, definitely the content holds up well. There are some things that don't hold up well in it, but that's not for me to discuss. We're trying to nostalgia bait here. We are trying to nostalgia bait here. Right. But Ed and Eddy, I didn't know that was Canadian. But it was a really, really nice show, I have to say. Shout out Plank. I think Plank is still an icon and a lot of things. If you show just a picture of a wooden plank with a face on it, people will know. Ooh, should I pull up a picture of... I'm going to pull up a picture of Plank. Give me a moment. Let me just look up Plank and see if that comes up. Okay, it's giving me the exercise blank. No, please. Pop culture, don't ruin me now. I'm going to scroll down a bit. Dang it. It's not coming up. I'm just going to put Plank, Ed, Edd, and Eddy. Okay. Now it's coming up. There we go. And it was, I believe it was Johnny's friend. Imaginary friend. Plank from Ed, Edd, and Eddy. Can I open this in a new tab? Let me see if I can. Ooh, it says I can. That's very zoomed in. Alright, you know what? That's not the best image, but it's an image. Shout out to Plank from Ed, Edd, and Eddy. You know, can you see my mouse? I hope you can. This is Plank, and this is, I believe it's Johnny. It has been a long while, but Plank is Johnny's best friend, like Johnny's imaginary friend, and Plank is iconic. Oh my, Plank is still iconic. We love Plank. We love Plank. 0 lines, 100 impacts. I don't know what else to say. Can I see it? Let me try to do a better image. Plank, Ed, Edd, and Eddy. Oh my. It's a bit slower, but we can see. Oh my gosh, they made a real life Plank on eBay. I don't want to buy it because it's a piece of wood. But yeah, Plank is just iconic. Open image, a new tab. I just want to show Plank off. Look at this guy. Look at him. Isn't he darling? Oh my. Now that's a friend. That is a friend. Plank is a friend. Plank is a lover, not a fighter. Oh my. I'm going to look up quotes. Ed, Edd, and Eddy quotes. I want to see if I can nostalgia a bit myself. Let's see. Because it's been such a long while. This was when I was really young. I saw some episodes. Ooh, we can go on Reddit and see. Because this is exactly a question from 3 years ago. But so far, let's see if a few. You bet your sweet bippy. Oh my. Anyways, let's see something come up. I'm tongue-tied. Must. Okay, a lot of these lack content, I'll say, because one of them is must eat non-believer. I feel like that's something Ralph would say, or Eddy. But I don't know. There's that is right, son. A mind is a terrible organ to shovel. Oh my. Let's see, can I see? A lot of these lack context for me, because it's been such a long time. Sinks are Mother Nature's own cereal bowls. That is something Eddy definitely said. Garages are for cars, Ed. Why, thank you. Don't touch that aisle, kids. Here, Eddy, lots of hurt. Hold the onions. This one's definitely Eddy. How can my feet smell if they don't have a nose? I'm going to use that. I don't get often told my feet smell. But if someone tells me that, I'm going to respond with, how can my feet smell if they don't have a nose? This also seems like an Eddy quote, but wait, my brain is working. Let's see, what else? Is there anyone that comes up that... Oh my. I'm trying to see if there's a quote that, you bet your sweet bippy I did, and... This is just funny because it's in context. Canadians are weird. That's a quote from Ed, Edd, and Eddy. Is that a play on Canadian animation and Eddy? I don't know, but oh my. But yeah, you bet your sweet bippy I did. I'm gonna use that as well. You bet your sweet bippy I did. Oh my. Right, we're falling behind on kana practice. We need to kick it back into gear. I think we'll go probably only to 50, but that should be enough. And let's... Ed, Edd, and Eddy is something I don't remember too well, just because, again, I was too young, but it definitely had an impact on me. From what I remember of it, it was a great show. I should rewatch it. I think I saw online, someone posted the entirety of Ed, Edd, and Eddy as a gift. It might have... Not a gift, a GIF. It might have been something else, like some other show, like the entire B movie, but I do remember that. Sorry, I just need some water. But man, Ed, Edd, and Eddy was so good. Now, I think we can go to a show that was a bit less good. Dare I say. A bit less impactful. Something known for its whip cracks, and that is, of course, Johnny Test. I'm going to be completely honest. I enjoyed Johnny Test as a kid, and for those of you who don't know, Johnny, you know what? Let me pull up an image of it. Just if I'm going to reference it quickly, but let me explain it. For those of you who don't know, Johnny Test was actually. Do I remember the theme song? I don't remember the theme song. It had 6 seasons. 2005? Really? I thought it was 2007 is when it first aired. But main characters, there's Bling Bling Boy. Oh my. Actually, let me look at, there's a new season. No. They remade it on Netflix? No. That's crazy. That is crazy. They remade it on Netflix. They're making more Johnny Tests. That is crazy. Oh my. I can't believe it. They're making more Johnny Test. And the images are not loading. Can we get one image? There we go. We have one image. But the theme song was probably the most iconic thing to me because it basically just explained the show. Actually, can I just say the theme song? Theme song. Because it ends with, this is the life of a boy named Johnny Test. And Johnny Test just repeats over and over and over again. It's a minute long. Johnny Test theme song lyrics. Well, first and foremost, let's show you this. Johnny Test was great, though. Crazy. I didn't hear about that. I didn't hear about it either. I just saw it on an image. I need to fact check it, but yes, I did enjoy it. I enjoyed Johnny Test quite much. It definitely has more of an Infamous vibe from it, but in terms of cartoon legacy. But oh my, Johnny Test, the Canadian animated television show about. Actually, the theme song says it better than I ever could. So let me try to find the theme song. By Johnny Test theme song by Kevin Manthei. Okay. Got a head of fiery hair and a turbocharged backpack. His genius sisters use him like lab rats. Wait, actually, no, I could put the lyrics up. I don't care. Do I care? I don't care. Let's start from the beginning. We're gonna not say the Johnny Test. I feel like that's too much for me. Oh my. Got a head of fiery hair and a turbocharged backpack. His genius sisters use him like a lab rat. A neat freak dad at home, a super busy mom. The boy's best friend is a talking dog. 3 extreme teens and an air-breathing shark. Mega action game controller skating in the park. Pharaoh Brewster bling bling, what do we make of this? And, of course, the chorus. This is the life of a boy named Johnny Test. Oh my, that's iconic. That is iconic. What a great theme song. I have to say, that explains it all. He's just a kid. He's just a guy. He's just a kid. With an eccentric family home, I'd say. My favorite Johnny Test quote. Well, first of all, my favorite Johnny Test character has to be Bling Bling Boy. Can we pull up Bling Bling Boy? We can pull up Bling Bling Boy. Let me pull up Bling Bling Boy. I'm getting distracted, but who cares? Bling Bling Boy, I forget if he was into Susan or Mary. I don't know. I'm sorry. I just looked it up, and there's an image of him buff for some reason. I don't know why. But Bling Bling Boy was this super rich kid who I believe liked Mary, not Susan. I forget which. It was one of the twins, one of Johnny's genius twin sisters. And he was super rich and used his money and got the cast in some random shenanigans. Bling Bling Boy. Oh, my favorite character. Like Plank from Ed, Edd, and Eddy, this guy is iconic. He transcends his own franchise. Bling Bling Boy is the best thing from Johnny Test. Buff Buff Boy? You know what? Yeah, Buff Buff Boy. We can pull up Buff Buff Boy. Is that is that actually the lore? It might be the lore. I might look it up. Buff Buff Boy. Oh my. Is that it? I have to look it up. Buff. Buff. That might be the context. I don't remember the context of it. Oh my. Buff Buff Boy, let's see. Saturday Night Live. Let me just search up Johnny Test. Johnny Test. Oh. Alright, let's just see. Okay, no, it's just Buff Johnny Test. I'm not sure if that was the I don't remember the context, but if I had to look at this, I warn you, you may want to avert your eyes. This popped up. This was the second image when I searched up Blink Blink Boy Johnny Test. Oh my. This was the second image that came up. I hardly remember anything about Johnny Test. I also hardly remember it. But I just remember Blink Blink Boy. I remember the theme song. And of course, I remember... can I pull it up? Let me try to pull it up. I'm going to pull up the clip. I need to pull up the clip. I need to pull up the clip. And, ooh, I might have to cut volume in general. Alright, you're going to hear me awkwardly talk for a bit. That's fine. I just did something bad. There we go. I undid something bad. Music is off temporarily as I load this clip. It's just such a great clip. It's such a great line. Oh. Only second to Handsome Squidward. Handsome Squidward, that was a great episode of SpongeBob as well. I loved how everyone was just crowding the Krusty Krab because he was handsome. And then they just kept beating his head with a door and slamming it against the wall. And he kept getting even more handsome. Oh my, it was very funny. It was very, very funny. Alright. And now... Oh, there we go. This is a 7-second clip, so I probably won't get demonetized or anything. But let's pull it up. Let's go here. Let's watch the clip.
Okay,
wait. I have to max out the volume for this. Or let's go here. That should be fine. The volume's raised, so let's hear it.
Okay, we want answers. Why did you resist a police officer?
Why are you police officers?
I blew up Malaysia.
The I blew up Malaysia always gets me. It always gets me. It always gets me. Oh my. That's my... I remember that. I don't know why I remember that, but I remember that. And it's just my favorite line, probably in any television show, let alone Canadian animation. We blew up Malaysia. Oh my. That's just so funny. That's just... oh my. It just... easily the best. Easily the best. Oh my. Apparently... I think that's enough Johnny Test, but there is a show more chaotic, more popular, more crazy, more influential that has come from Canada. Probably the most popular, most influential, I don't even know what to say. What I'm trying to say is, that's crazy, I forgot. You forgot about that line? That's the most iconic line. That is iconic. Oh my. Yeah, but that line was just... chef's kiss. Oh my, that's my favorite thing about Johnny Test. The theme song is also really good. And I remember watching a clip a while back with all the whip cracks in it, just to point out every whip crack in Johnny Test, and I was like, huh, you know, it's annoying, and it's definitely worse than when I was a kid and didn't care about that, but it's not as bad as the internet tells me. But that's besides the point. I talked enough about what I can on Johnny Test. Also, there was Gil. I didn't talk about Gil. Gil is the love interest of both twins. That's all I know about Gil. I don't remember anything else. Actually, Johnny was pretty chill with Gil, I believe. And that's all... Oh, no. One more thing. His dad was an awful cook and made a lot of meatloaf. And they had an episode where if Johnny got through dinner without being... with table manners, without being gross, without burping, without saying this food is disgusting. With eating it all, his dad would get him something, like I don't know, like bribery essentially. So his sisters devised a plan to help him by having a special cloth that hides his burps and a suction tube that can suck out the meatloaf. Which actually reminds me of this is completely unrelated to any sort of Canadian cartoon, but the Baja Blast heist. Baja Blast heist. It reminds me of this specifically for some reason. If you don't know what the Baja Blast heist is, basically, or Operation Soda Seal, I call it the Baja Blast heist. It's both. Who cares? Basically, the Baja Blast heist. This image here was posted on the internet some amount of years ago. It was posted on the internet some amount of years ago saying, hey, what if you connected a hose to your soda cup and just it secretly filled up 2 bottles in the back or whatever, filled up a bag in secret. You could steal Baja Blast, which is a Taco Bell exclusive drink, if I recall. So, someone did this. They did this. And they stole a bunch of Baja Blast. It was very cool, very crazy. Very cool, very crazy, but it reminds me of this, because the meatloaf would get sucked off and brought into his bag that Johnny was wearing. I think it was under the table or under a suit, I don't know. But anyways, he almost makes it through dinner, but then shenanigans ensue, and then the meatloaf that he sucked up kind of burst out. That's an episode I remember of Johnny Test, but oh my. Johnny Test definitely had its moments. It's overhated. It's overhated. For a kid's show, it does well. But what was I saying before? Oh yes, moving to a new show. Something a bit more chaotic than Johnny Test. More iconic, more... I don't know what else to say. It was probably one of the most influential shows that has existed in modern times. I'm hyping it up. I'm not sure if I should be hyping it up. But this show is Canadian. This show influenced many people and was incredibly popular on the internet. This show was the 4th generation of My Little Pony. This is also Canadians just have a... What's the word I'm looking for? A hand grasping over control of the animation industry. It's crazy. This show was... It was popular. It was so incredibly popular. I don't even know. There are people with video essays that can just talk in details about this. There are people with video essays who can talk about stuff completely tangential to this and related to this. In fact, in my recommended, like a week or 2 ago, I got recommended a video talking about a fan fiction based on My Little Pony from if Twilight Sparkle met the King in Yellow. The King in Yellow being this, oh my goodness, I always forget his name, but the Cthulhu guy. Something like that. Like one of those transcendental monsters. Oh my goodness, I forget the name. But, okay, let me look up the Cthulhu guy. Cthulhu guy. Lovecraftian horror, that's what I'm looking for. He's this Lovecraftian horror guy. I'm not sure if he's Lovecraftian exactly, but he's this type of Lovecraftian horror guy who knows all knowledge and wants to possess the world. And that video naturally got recommended to me. Granted, I was watching Destroying a World That Doesn't Exist. I believe it was that. Destroying a World That Doesn't Exist, which is basically Weethies, this Minecraft ARG guy, made a video prior that got very popular about finding a world that doesn't exist, where Avery the male, gets a book from the previous owner of this Minecraft community that says, don't go left at the crossroads. Don't go left at the crossroads. Don't go left at the crossroads. Blah, blah, blah. Basically, in this Minecraft world, it's polluted by the King in Yellow himself, Shenanigans ensue. It's a pretty good 2 series. The first video is amazing. Second video is also pretty good. But, oh my. That's besides the point. The point is that I watched that, and apparently, because I watched that one video, it leads back to My Little Pony. All roads, what's the saying? All roads lead to Rome. All internet forums lead to My Little Pony. It's crazy. The influence was insane. I'm not the guy most versed in this. I know there was... The creators had a Team Fortress 2 themed collab that was, I don't know, weekly or something. I don't know. There's a lot of weird, cool, interesting things about the fandom that I don't even know about. But that is just insane. I didn't know they did that. I didn't know Canada had that. They have Arthur? Oh, I'm sorry. I'm getting completely distracted, aren't I? I'm supposed to be just, what's the word? Talking about shows. Sorry, doing puzzles. Not puzzles. Doing kana, but... Oh my. I'm getting distracted by Canadian television. But, let me pull up I just want to talk about 2 more shows, then I promise I will cut it off. Wait, I shouldn't have promised it. Okay, 3 more shows. And one I'll just briefly talk about. 16. It's a show about 16-year-olds who work at a mall. That's it. I watched a very few amount of episodes of it as a child. I remember one episode where they wanted to go surfing, and there was this huge wave that was going to come. I don't remember what happened in that episode. I just remember that happening. And let's see, other episode of 16. One of the main 6 gets a job at a chocolate shop that offers them free chocolate, and they gain weight. And the skater dude is trying to practice for a skating competition, so he's practicing by pulling said person along to practice drag, and he noticed that he's getting slower. He's like, oh man, I'm getting weaker, not knowing that it's actually his friend who's getting a bit heavier, so it's increasing the drag. Those are the only 2 things I remember from 16. Only 2 things. Oh my. But now, I'll bring up the last 2 shows. Now I can say the last 2 shows. But I just need to open this image in a new tab. There we go. First show. Well, actually, let me go to the first show. I went on a tangent. My apologies. But first show, Arthur. This show, I watched a ton of as a kid. I'm not sure if it was my favorite show. Actually, no, it definitely wasn't. My favorite show actually wasn't a cartoon. It was Zubamafu. Zubamafu was this animal show that, think of, what is it, the Kraft Brothers? The Kraft Brothers, is it the Kraft Brothers? Oh my goodness gracious, I need to look that up. Zubamafu. Not Zubamafu, Zubumafu. Late 90s, early 2000s. Yes, it is the Kratt brothers. Chris and Martin Kratt. Oh my. And a talking lemur named Zubumafu. I thought it was Zubamafu. Sue me. But Zubumafu. I love Zubumafu. Anyways. Is Zubumafu... Wait. Is Canadian? Let me... Canadian or American? Zubumafu is actually an American-Canadian co-production. It was created by the American zoologists Chris and Matt Kratt alongside Canadian creators. Yeah, it was... Oh, okay. Sorry, we have 3 shows. Zubumafu is next. I'm sorry, let me pull up Zubumafu. But while we're on that, we can talk about Arthur. Arthur was a show about a kid named Arthur. And... it was a children's show about dealing with things. I don't remember much of it. I know that it ended. And they reminisced about it. And I also remember there was an episode that aired not shortly after 9/11. I think it was sometime after 9/11. It was called May 9th or something. That was supposed to parallel like the school caught on fire, and it was about dealing with trauma. Essentially. It was a show about dealing with trauma. The episode dedicated to dealing with trauma that was parallel to the attacks on September 11th, 2001 to the World Trade Center. It was in parallel to that. I think it was... I shouldn't say I think, but it's a pretty good show. When there's such heavy subjects in the world and whatnot, you have to do a lot. I guess. You have to be very careful on how you explain things. It's very interesting. Let's go back to Arthur. You have to take some extra caution, and I think when that extra caution is taken, those episodes, those shows and whatnot, they turn out pretty good. Not just pretty good, they turn out good. But yes, Arthur was a big part of my childhood, I guess. I do remember the meme where, I think it was Arthur's closed fist. I think that became a popular meme in like the mid-late 2010s. Oh my. But that's enough about Arthur. Let's move on to the next show. The last animation we'll talk about. Clone High. Clone High was a 2002 show from MTV featuring... Oh my god, why is this... Sorry. Oh my gosh, why is this image so blurry? That's so strange. Let me try to get a less blurry image. Because that's very... Where are the pixels? It's not that bad, but, it's not that bad. We'll keep it. But basically, Clone High was a parody of, like, reality... I always say reality. It's not reality TV. High school television show. I guess. It was a parody of that, but instead of just normal students, the students were clones of famous historical figures. Do I remember? I might remember the theme song. Way back when, in the 1980s, secret government employees cloned famous dudes and ladies. Now there's something... Oh my, I need a... The theme song is iconic. I also know that they made a remake of it. I did not see the remake. I heard mixed opinions about it. I might watch it, I might not, I don't know. But Clone High is something I remember pretty well because I remember watching it on YouTube. That was probably illegal. It probably was illegally on YouTube. I don't know, it's probably down now. But Clone High, the 2002 show, it was so iconic. Alright. Okay, I have the lyrics up. Way back in the 1980s, secret government employees dug up famous guys and ladies and made amusing genetic copies. Now the clones are sexy teens now. They're gonna make it if they try. Loving, learning, sharing, judging. A time to laugh and shiver and cry. A time to watch Clone High. Energetic and engaging, Clone High. Our angst is entertaining, Clone High. Our lives are never boring. Who am I? There's a place that you can go to, and it's never very far. Famous people you know live through, if you don't know who you are. Why there's so much to live up to, expectations are so high. I'm not crying, it's my context, there must be something in my eye. You all must watch Clone High. Inspired and organic Clone High. Possibly dramatic Clone High. More fun than watching static, where am I? Clone High. I'm sorry, I can't read the rest of it. There's more? Oh my. Anyways, Clone High was very iconic. I watched it in 2022, I think. Maybe 2023. I don't know. So it's not too long ago. So it's relatively fresh in my memory. But our protagonist is Abraham Lincoln, this tall fellow right over here. And his gaggle of friends, Joan of Arc and Gandhi. And I guess the main plot of the show, the main conflict... and this is Scuttlesworth. He's the principal scientist guy. And this is Wesley. No, I forget this is. Who's the robot in Clone High? He calls everyone Wesley. His name is not Wesley. Clone High Is his name Wesley? That's Wesley Nessel. Mr. Butlertron! Oh my, that's such a fitting name, because he's like a Butlertron. I get it, because he's like a butler and a robot. Oh, that's so cool. And he's just the funny shenanigan straight man robot thing to Mr. Scuttlesworth. Oh my, Clone High was iconic. But anyways, there's like a love quadrilateral, I guess. It's not really, it's more like a love constellation, I'll call it. Because Abraham Lincoln, our protagonist, is growing up, and now he is in love with Cleopatra, who is currently dating John F. Kennedy. But it's like an on and off again thing. But he's pining for her, and Joan of Arc is in love with our main protagonist, Abraham Lincoln. And shenanigans ensue. There's a period where John F. Kennedy likes Joan of Arc. Actually, there's 2 separate periods. We might talk about that. Oh my. But it was such a great show. I loved it. John F. Kennedy was definitely my favorite character, though. Sorry, Mr. Butlertron. Sorry, Scuttlesworth. But John F. Kennedy was just... His lines were insane. And I could do a voice of him. My favorite... Let's see. One of my favorite lines from him. When he's at a party and he wants to show off his abs. My abs are so firm that you can grate cheese on them. That's one. Let's see. When he's racing Abraham Lincoln for Cleopatra's love. Nothing bad ever happens to the Kennedys. Let's see. When Jack Black tries to push grapes, or sorry, raisins. I think grapes are raisins. Jack Black tries to push raisins to the kids, which is an allegory for drugs. I like your funny words, Magic Man. Oh my. John F. Kennedy's iconic. Favorite character. Oh man. Let's see. There's so much to talk about. You know what? I might just... It's getting late. I have to talk about Zubomafu. I might talk about this later, but Clone High, great show. Very Canadian, apparently. But last but not least, this... What is the stream title? Is this Canadian? It's Canadian animation is kind of insane, but we can talk about my favorite show to ever come out of Canada. The most influential on my life. Zubomafu. This show was it PBS Kids? I don't know, but I loved it. Actually, let me just look up. Is Curious George Canadian? It feels like every show's Canadian now. Curious George Canadian or American? I think it's American. Okay, the animated show was funded by a Canadian company, but Curious George is a television series. American Children's Animated. Okay, so it's American. Curious George is American. Good, we don't have to talk about it then. Zubomafu was a show about the Krat brothers and this lemur named Zubomafu. And each episode, they would just do a dive on a specific animal. And we learned so much. Oh my, I don't remember specific animals or specific episodes from when I was a kid. I do remember one specific episode actually, where the lemur, Zubomafu, was talking about how he saw this big yellow animal eat kids. Which sounds bad out of context. In context, it was normal-ish, but he was talking about a school bus. And then they went to a school and talked about animals, and it was really cool to see it in an episode. I don't know if I was addicted to Zubomafu as a kid, but it was easily my favorite television show when I was young. Frankly, it might be my favorite television show of all time. It might be my favorite television show of all time. It is that good for children, which I was. Well, I might rewatch an episode. I'm open to rewatching an episode. Normally I don't do that because, objectively, looking back on it, it's going to be worse than I thought it was because A, I'm grown up, B, the standard quality of television has improved. For instance, this puppet doesn't look realistic to me now, but when I was a kid, it looked like a real lemur because I was gullible, because I was a child. But oh my, they taught me so much. Part of me even wanted to be some sort of biologist. I didn't become a biologist, but I considered it because of this show, because animals were so cool. Animals are so cool. Oh my. This, again, favorite show possibly ever. Little lore drop. Oh my. Okay, I think we talked enough about television shows. it's getting pretty late, so let's just do one puzzle, the mini cryptic. I'd like to normally end with puzzles. I think I would have been over, so we're just going to end with puzzle single. Oh, wait, actually, I'm going to sleep. Have a good stream. Thank you. I will go to sleep soon. I will go to sleep soon as well. I hope you had a nice time. Sleep well. And have a... Wait, no, what's my... Outro. Have a day. I hope it's a good one. See ya. There we go. There we go. We nailed it. We nailed it. Oh my. Right. Let's go to here. Alright, we're going to end with a puzzle. The mini cryptic. And what the mini cryptic is, it's a cryptic crossword clue. And what a cryptic crossword clue is it's like a normal crossword clue where there's a clue and you have to get a word from it. However, unlike a normal crossword clue, the definition is at the beginning, maybe managed, or the end, never played with. And the rest of the clue is a puzzle of sorts to help you get that word. There will be some words that are indicators. They indicate what to do with other words, which are fodder. And from there we can find letters and organize them in a way to basically craft a word. It's a bit hard to explain, but it's better to learn by watching and by doing. So without further ado, let us begin. Manage to return dog to shelter, never played with. Right. So, I think, what could it be? Manage to return. Okay, so the definition might be managed, or might be played with, or never played with. I'm not sure which one with. It's not going to be managed to return. Why is it not going to be that? Because return is just screaming an indicator. It's telling me to say, hey, look at the words around it and flip one around. Oh my. It's a bit difficult. I feel like we managed to return dog to shelter. And then never. Managed to return dog to shelter. You know what? I'm gonna use the definition. What do I think first? I think the definition is... I think it's played with. I think the definition is played with. It's managed. And our answer would be another word for that. To return dog to shelter. Never played with. Okay, so we have to find an 8-letter word that means managed. Interesting. I'm going to use another hint for the indicators. Return feels like an indicator. I don't know if it's acting on to or dog. I click on the wrong thing. Apologies. Oh my. To return, to shelter, and played with. Okay. So let me see. Before reading the bottom, to return makes me think backwards. And never, and then to shelter means we put that in never, because never shelters it surrounds it. And then played with anagrams? So let's read the indicators specifically. One of these is an anagram indicator. We'll need to manipulate some letters by arranging them. Another is a containing indicator. Okay, so yeah. Played with means we anagram never. Shelter means we put dog in whatever we anagram. And return means we put dog backwards. Right? Anagram indicator needs to manipulate some letters. Another is a containing indicator, guiding us to house some letters inside others. A third is a reversal indicator. To turn some okay. So let's just do it. So let's go here. Right. So dog. And then return is acting on dog to flip it around, make it go backwards. So we have G-O-D, God. Now, to shelter means we have to put it inside of never. But we anagram never. So we have no idea. But G-O-D is some consecutive amount of letters inside. Because we play with never. So we anagram it and then put God inside, G-O-D inside. And that means managed. Let me just put this in like this. And that should be 8 letters, like 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yep. I'm just gonna... No. What can be managed? Maybe... Not for... Govern. Govern? Oh, shit. We're not sheltering dog in never. We're sheltering never in dog. It is governed. Governed. Yep, G-O-D is on the outside. G-O-V-E-R-N-E-D. Governed. Alright. I don't think I would have gotten this without the hints, but... There we go. We did even with par. We will take that. That was rather difficult. Right. That's going to do it for today's stream. Thank you all for watching. Do I have anything else? Anything in my notes? I don't think I wrote down anything in my notes. I think I talked about all my notes last time and forgot to delete them. Let's see. No. Whenever I open up my notes that I wrote down, I'm always just... the first thing on there is just... Well, not the first thing, but the most prominent thing on there is just a line saying moth, 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 moth. I always think about it sometimes. A while back, I was doing a Wikipedia-esque challenge where I just go in random articles until I found a moth. And that's why I said moth, 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 because I saved the timestamp of that. I never did record that into a clip. I should. But yes. Oh, no, there was one thing I want to talk about. One sad thing. Actually, 2 things maybe. Let me just check the score of the basketball game that's happening. NBA games. Thunder Spurs. The Thunder won. 127 to 114. Oh, that makes me sad. I like the Spurs. I like Dylan Harper specifically, but also Victor Wembanyama and Stephon Castle. And Luke Cornett. I love Luke Cornett. Luke Cornett, oh my. He was one of my... Well, I loved a lot of Celtics players, but he was so good for the 2024... Was it 2024? He was so good in the 2025 season. Him as the roll man and Tatum as the initiator. Oh my. As the ball handler for the pick and roll. That was such a good combo. I loved it. He was great on screens. I remember he had, I think, like 6 blocks in the playoff game. Really loved Luke Cornett. But anyways, other thing I want to talk about was, how do I say this? I'm a fan of Cover Corp, and I think like a month back, they announced that they were basically axing is a harsh word because it's still there, but axing the support to their, how do I say this? To their original branch, their JP branch. They were axing support, so they were no longer allowed to go to the studio to record. Didn't get help with, or will no longer get help with merch, and just basically lost a lot of the benefits of being in a corporation. And it's a bit sad because as someone who likes streamers, as someone who likes, how do I say this? As someone who likes Cover Corp, as someone who likes streamers, it's a bit sad to see that creative spark getting stifled due to what I assume is just, they're not, well, not assume, they just weren't bringing enough revenue, apparently. I think that's what the main case was, so the shareholders really cracked down on it, and I realized that our music is off. There we go. But because, and the worst thing was, it's not even that they were trending in the wrong direction. It's not even that they were unprofitable, but, oh my. Hello, how are you? I hope you are well. I do apologize, this is near the end of stream. I have one more thought and I'm wrapping it up, but I appreciate you for stopping by. Hope you're doing well. I am doing well as well. But I'm talking about the Hollow Stars from Cover Corp. Specifically the JP branch, and hello again. Specifically the JP branch of Hollow Stars. And the worst part is, it's not even they were trending in the wrong direction. They were making more money But apparently, they were making more revenue, I should say. I'm not sure about profit. Profit is something... Profit and revenue, usually those things are intertwined. It depends. Legal jargon, blah, blah, blah. Sorry, business jargon, not too well-versed in. But it does make me not sad. It does make me sad that, you know, creativeness is just being snuffed out a bit. It's always sad. Oh my. And I hope it doesn't spread to the EN branches, because I'm a fan of the EN branch as well. I don't catch every stream, but I catch a fair bit. Streams, specifically, I guess Flayon and Bettle. But that's, oh my. I guess just support your streamers that you like. Specifically, oh my. No, I don't have a spiel. I don't have anything to say. I'm just sad. I'm just sad. And, oh, sorry. What I meant to say was, because of that decision like a month ago, today it was announced that a lot of them would be graduating. Specifically, talents concluding their streaming activities and their final dates. It's at six talents of the... Literally half of the talents of the JP branch are graduating. Hanasaki Miyabi, Rika, Minase Ryo, Kishiro Tenma, Rudan Su, Kageyama Shien. Oh my, they're all graduating. Now, again, I'm not too familiar with the JP branches of Hollow Stars, but I feel bad for their fan bases. It's a completely understandable decision by the streamers who choose to graduate and no longer be a part of Hollow Stars and, I guess, lose their IP forever. Character is gone. But it does make me sad. Oh my. Sorry to end on such a sour note, but I don't really have much else to say. I'm gonna end stream now. But thank you all for watching. It does mean a lot to me. And as always, have a day. I hope it's a good one. See ya.